Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, here's GERALD CELENTE with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is GERALD CELENTE, and here are some of today's trends in the news. We had recorded earlier a piece for today covering the economy, global affairs, and other issues, and we're not going to provide that tonight, considering what just happened in Connecticut with the shooting of some 27 people, the death of them. We were having coffee early this morning, starting the day, and we have really prime coffee and a great coffee machine, coffee maker, and had some wonderful imported panettone, real great quality. We were talking and say how fortunate we are and how much we have. And I said, when it changes like that. And then about 3 hours later, we got the news that it changed like that. So what's going on in America? You've heard me talking about this before. This is nothing new. I've been around a long time, and this is a very different country. I remember back in the 50s, and I've said this before, there was this book written by Truman Capote in Cold Blood. I'll never forget, I was a teenager watching the movie. It was about these two guys, and I think they were whacked out on aspirin, as it turned out to be. And Robert Blake, I believe, played in it, or somebody Blake, I forget, I think his name is Robert. And about these two guys that terrorized this farm family in the middle of nowhere, and they killed the 4 members of the family. And how that wouldn't even be news today. It would break into the news and out of the news. Just like the news on this past Tuesday, that another guy went berserk in a mall in Oregon and killed 2 people and seriously wounded another. April 2nd, a gunman kills 7 people and wounds 3 in shooting rampage at a Christian college in Oakland, California. July 20th, a masked gunman kills 12 people and wounds 58 when he opens fire on moviegoers at a showing of the Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises, in Aurora, Colorado. August 5th, a gunman killed 6 during Sunday services at a Sikh temple in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. He wasn't a Sikh, of course. He was some guy from the outside that thought Sikhs were Muslims and wanted to kill him. Think about that. That the hatred that's built up because of these wars, where this guy went and took it out on innocent people. Too stupid enough to know he was being lied to, and too stupid enough to understand that he got the wrong people. September 27th, a disgruntled former employee kills 5 in a Minneapolis sign company. October 21st, 3 people are killed in a Milwaukee area spa, including the estranged wife of the suspected gunman. December 14th, a shooter opens fire in Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. And here we are. And there are more. These are just some of them. What's going on? It's a societal breakdown. And these are just some of the notes that I put together in thinking about this. They're going to blame guns and call for gun control. That's going to be the first knee-jerk reaction. There are something like 300 million loose guns out there. You can have all the gun control in the world you want. This isn't going to stop it. It's a much greater issue, but it'll be a knee-jerk reaction. And as reported, Newton, Connecticut School District had recently installed new safety protocols to prevent situations of this that just happened. Doesn't work like that. But those are going to be the knee-jerk reactions. And then you're going to hear on the media and all the TV, what were the psychological causes that flipped this guy out? Or what was going on in the family that flipped the switch? And of course, there are going to be a lot of psychological issues. But what they're guaranteed not to do in the media is to recognize that this is a symptom of a much broader societal breakdown. It is truly the death of America at so many different levels. There's the broken family structure. It's a very different family than when I grew up. You know, my mother was home, and believe me, boy, you know, there were times when you were happy that she was there when you came home from school and cooking dinner. And I was out of my mind, you know, I used to get in trouble all the time, and it was great to have Mom there when I needed her. And then, of course, there's the dysfunctional families. Look what's going on now. You know, people having kids that are kids, coming from nothing, knowing nothing, and having more children. And this dysfunction just keeps spreading. We have widespread economic hardship. And a lot of people in this society, which is so consumer-driven, are facing a futureless future. As people who have traveled around the world know, you could go to very poor countries and the people behave much more civilized than they do over here. So yes, money's a factor, but particularly in this country, it's a factor. And then there's the movie, music, television, and video game industries that are obsessed with violence. It's continual. It never stops. It's around the clock. It's 24/7. Go to the movies. Turn on the TV. Listen to the music. It's in front of us all the time, and these video games are at levels of violence that are incomprehensible. You think it has any effect? I don't need somebody to write into me saying there are no proven studies that show there are no psychological effects. You eat poison, you die of poison. You drink poison, you'll die of poisoning. You take in poison information, entertainment, music, movies, TV, your mind gets poisoned. Save it for somebody else. And the fish rots from the head down. It's a nation that glorifies itself in violence. We have wars that kill people indiscriminately. And we have a president that launches drone attacks on suspected militants. We have torture. It's a country where morality has long lost its way. If you see stealing from the banks, killing from the government, what kind of message does that leave for the younger people whose minds are just forming? This is a 20-year-old kid. When I think back of who I was at 20 years old, and this is no lie, when I was a kid, my brothers and sisters used to say, "You're not going to make it till 21. That used to be the line for me. And you're just growing up. And your mind is malleable and it's formed with images. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And it's a prescription drug, illegal drug society that's drug addicted, violence fed, and morally vacant. And as long as we keep staying like that, we're going to continue to grow new breeds of sociopaths and psychopaths who won't be able to handle the pressures around them and are going to go berserk. And unfortunately, as I said as I began this, and proven by examples, The officials and the authorities will call for greater security, more surveillance. It's already happening. Now they're even putting audio surveillance on buses and trolley cars and trains to listen to us. And more of an abrogation of constitutional rights. This is a very sad day for America. And as the trends are going, unfortunately, unless we rise to a higher level and denounce this violence that rots with the head of the fish down, we're going to see much worse to come. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.